Hi guys, welcome back to TGO podcast. If you're a new listener, welcome to TGO podcast. Today I have a special guest, Mr. President.
I like that.
Yeah,
I like that.
Hakim,
Scanning.
how are you?
I'm alive.
Long time,
Real long time. You disappeared.
but you know it's me. Like, come on.
Nah,
the thing is, I'm here, but
Where's here?
like as in I'm always around.
Nah, and what's funny is like you're literally 2 minutes from me.
Exactly.
2 minutes. I ain't seen you in how many years?
You know, but it's like a strange world. It's like things are like that. It's like you'd be so close to someone, and
I last saw you when we went Paris.
no.
I've not seen you since then.
No. Paris was 2015.
No, that wasn't 2015.
Paris was 2015, 14?
No, it wasn't 14. Paris was 2015. You're right.
Exactly.
Okay, now I've seen you since then. But where?
I just can't remember where. Maybe in passing.
Nah, man, I'm sticking to that. I
You
ain't
know what?
seen
The
you
thing
since
is,
Paris.
this is what social media does to you. You see someone on social
Media, you think you see them regularly. Yeah.
Person.
But
So-
I'm thinking in physically, I haven't seen you since Paris. I can't think of a time I would have seen. Actually, no, that's a lie. That's a lie. I feel like I have.
I feel like it's social media. But anyway, I also feel like I've seen you, but at the same time, my mind is telling me it's social media.
Maybe not. Yeah. Well, I'm everywhere on
But-
social. You like to keep quiet on social
No, I don't.
media.
I don't keep quiet. I'm just like in the trenches, waiting to come out.
Locked
I'm
away
out
in
now.
locked away in this concrete village.
Hey, the village is the best thing. I'm protected in the village, but anyway,
I
I'm
see.
really happy that you came to join me.
No, I had to. As soon as I saw that you're doing this, that's
Yeah.
why I reached out. I was like, listen, you need to get me on.
I mean, I was so happy with. I've been wanting to ask you to come, but just like, wait, I need to like build up a few episodes, then like
And
ask
then
you
to get me.
Yeah. It's gonna be one of those like, what's happening over there?
Nah,
But-
I saw it and I was like, okay, kept an eye on it,
Yeah.
listened to a few episodes, and I was like,
sweet.
I like this.
Yeah.
So then I reached out. To be honest, yeah,
Yeah.
from when I started following you, I was waiting for you to invite me,
No way.
but you didn't. So I was like, okay, since she ain't gonna invite me, let me
You're gonna
take
invite yourself.
I'm gonna invite myself.
No,
Yeah.
but I'm really happy.
No, I
that
like
you
it. It's a
did.
good look. Keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
For me, this is my life. Like right here, where I am behind the mic, is
Yeah.
where I love to be.
Yeah.
So anytime I see anyone, especially from within the community, doing this, I
Yeah.
just get so happy. I
Oh,
get
that's-
so happy. So, and
That makes
man,
me feel so happy.
I don't know. To be honest, I don't even know if I should ask.
No, I mean go for it.
I was gonna ask the name. Like let's talk about the name.
The name, it took. So I have a list of like almost 50 names. Okay.
Uh-huh.
We did like a spider diagram, everything. Like I've
Right.
been working on this for a while. Like for it
Right.
to come out, it's not something that happened overnight. Obviously, you should know this.
Of course.
But with the names, we wanted something catchy, something that would be like, what? Okay.
So what
got
was
it.
you? What state of mind was you in when you chose that particular
So
name?
that particular, I know it sounds very someone who has a dirty mind. I think you have a dirty mind. Immediately you're thinking, what are you guys doing over there?
No, because it's a very creative name. It's a play on words.
Yeah.
Do you get it? And
Mhm.
it's one of those ones that actually speaks to the messed up mindsets of society.
That's why you have to pull
It's
them
like,
in.
Yeah, that good oral.
Yeah.
But you literally mean conversation.
It
but
is,
then
that's what it is.
people, not me,
Uh-huh.
but other people with dirty minds
Yeah.
are thinking of something else. No, man, I like it, man. Keep doing what you're doing.
No, thank you.
And I like the fact that you went straight to Spotify as well. A lot
Of
of,
course,
a
I
lot of
had
people
to.
are making mistakes where they're not even jumping on that, and they think that they need to wait to build up, then
Yeah.
go onto Spotify.
Yeah.
But Gander straight away, that was a good look.
Of course, like it honestly, it doesn't cost that much, and also you have to invest a little bit in order to gain something.
Yeah, of
So
course.
I was happy to do that.
When you asked me
Yeah.
topics, I was like, man, I don't know, I just want to come.
You just want to, you know what? I was just happy for you to just come and just have a general conversation.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't have to be about anything.
Do you know what it is though? I think what drew me to this is because a lot of the work that I've been doing over the last few years has been in front of a camera. That I can't think of the last time I was having a conversation that wasn't in front of a camera.
That's what I wanted to stay away from.
So that kind of drew me in. I think the last time, it's been about 3 years, I think around about 2017, when I was literally having a conversation that didn't involve a camera in my face. So when I saw this, I just got excited. I literally started picturing this, radio, everything, and you can tell by the way I'm dressed. Definitely not dressed for the camera. I was just happy, man.
No, seriously, I feel like with cameras, it throws people off, and also like you watch what you're saying, whereas when you're sitting back, relaxed, you know, no one's watching, and also of course I can edit anything you don't want me to. So I just feel like, what? He wants to come? Yes, please. I'm like, you saw I responded, yes, please.
No, 100%. Let's do this, man.
No, this is really amazing. I mean, obviously I know you, but like the listeners don't know you. Maybe you want to introduce yourself, tell them about yourself. Also, I want to know where the president comes from. Why are you naming yourself the president?
Do you know what? That's probably the single most asked question I get. But who am I? Hakim. Who's Hakim? Do you want my CV or do you just want?
Please, whatever you want us to have.
I don't even know how to describe myself. I'm just a young man that's really passionate about social issues. That's kind of where it all kicked off. So I was trained by the BBC World Service. Yeah. Was with them for about 4 years. And was working on radio as a citizen journalist.
What radio?
BBC World Service.
Okay.
So mainly there was a program called Outlook that would be on a lot. Yeah. But it would also make small documentaries about a number of different issues. So for me, the big one was 2011 with the election with the riots. Yeah. So that was the big thing that we did at the time. But before that, it was also the build up to the Olympics. How this borough was kind of the expectations that we had off of what the Olympics were bringing to Newham. Okay. And then so we covered that for the 2 years leading up to it. Yeah. And then the year after we followed up a year after to see kind of what had happened. So done a lot knife crime, poverty. That was always my main thing. So radio was a big thing for me. But then slowly I started getting into public speaking as well. And then I just got into youth activism, where I was working with a number of organizations to try and prevent youth violence as well. That led me traveling a lot, found myself in places like Greece, in places like Hungary, in the United States.
Still talking to the youth?
Yeah, young people in different organizations and politicians. I started working with members of parliament, the Minister for London. So I was doing a lot, and then it kind of all came together when I started working for this borough. I started working with the Mayor of Newham, and it was just, all of that was just, how can I put it? It was just a showcase of the fact that this is what my passion has always been, working to try and better the community. But at the same time, it's not just working in the background, but speaking about it as well. Yeah. So hence, the radio shows that I'd done, from Real Talk with on TGM, I think that was a big thing for me. Yeah. Really loved it. Ran for a few years.
Is that still on?
TGM is still there. Yeah. But Real Talk, we left TGM a couple of years back. But that was a big thing. You know, it led to us, interviewing people like Bobby Wine, Arias Lukwago, so on and so forth. And it was a big thing for me. And then obviously started running another show. But it's all just been that. And now I set up the 256 podcast as well. Yeah. And that's kind of just a platform where I felt there's something missing within the UK scene. Yeah. And because when you look at the UK at this moment in time with the black community, more than anything, it's taken form. There's this black British culture that's kind of taken form at this moment. Okay, yeah. But it's heavily influenced by West African and Caribbean cultures. Do you get it? Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's having an effect even on our communities as well, as people from East Africa. And I felt what's missing is our voices, our cultures, our input. Because whether we like it or not, this thing is going to take take shape. And years from now, we're gonna be in a similar situation to the United States, where you're gonna have black kids in the UK who cannot associate with any African or Caribbean country, where they trace their lineage. It's here and it's mixed, it's different, where they will be black British, and that culture's taken form. But again, as I said, it's massively influenced by West African and Caribbean cultures. And what I want more than anything is to have that say where we're here too. Yeah. Do you understand? As Ugandans, as East Africans, we're here too. We're part of this story. We need to be part of this thing that's taking shape.
Do you feel like what's happening, we're kind of forgotten, or like you don't feel like we're part of the movement?
I don't think we're forgotten. I just think we're not seen.
Are we not loud enough?
We're definitely not. Okay. We're loud within ourselves. Okay, I think one thing I know about Ugandans, we're very patriotic. We love being Ugandans, but that love stays within. We don't project that outwards. Do you get it? Yeah. And almost everything we do is geared and directed towards our own. Whereas when you look at West African cultures or Caribbean cultures, they're projecting their culture outwards. Whereas for us, we're projecting it within. Yeah. You feel me? And that's what needs to change. And that's kind of what the 256 podcast is about. It's about setting up a stage where we get to project our thoughts, our identities, our experiences, our way of life to the wider British society, to say, yeah, we're part of this bubble known as Britain today, modern day Britain, do you understand? But these are our experiences. This is what it's like having a Ugandan mother. You know, being born in the UK by a Ugandan mother and having to go to a school that's predominantly black or predominantly Asian do you get what I'm trying to say? So those experiences, those conversations, that black British experience has to involve our experience as well. Yeah. And I felt like it's not, so that's where we at right now.
I feel like I totally agree with you, because when it comes to like different cultures, how I feel, it's like what other people are mainly seeing, how when they say an African, they're just thinking Western African. It's just how what's being portrayed. So I think you're right. Someone just learning how it is to have an East African mother, for instance, how they treat you is different from how like a West African mother would treat their child. So I think that will definitely be great. Also
to project a sense of pride as well. I think one thing I noticed growing up was a sense of shame when it came to being a Ugandan.
Really?
Big time. I was very fortunate, and if you see some of the shows we've put out for the podcast and other programs we've had, a lot of the people actually speak about that. And in fact, I'm sitting on about 20 shows that I haven't released, right? That I filmed but haven't released. And in it, you get a lot of young girls and boys as well talking about their experiences growing up Ugandan and how they had this sense of shame, how they felt being Ugandan wasn't cool, or
I'd say maybe being African in general.
No, then. So for this new generation, we
haven't evolved as much.
Yeah. And they felt it wasn't cool, and there was a negative stigma that was associated with being Ugandan. And there's a lot of Ugandans who wouldn't call themselves Ugandan. They'll happily say I'm this or I'm that, and I saw this in school.
I've met a lot of Ugandans that used to say I'm Bayesian.
Yeah, I'm Jamaican. I'm this.
Yeah.
And it was like growing up. I went to school here in Canning Town as well, and I was fortunate to grow up with a lot of Ugandans, especially growing up in Forest Gate, going to school in Canning Town, going to school with a lot of Ugandans. We would see it. Certain Ugandans will come and they wouldn't want to speak Luganda, or they wouldn't want to associate with us. So I think what I wanted to do more than anything, as much as just project our culture, but also to kind of set a platform for the next generation coming up, where they're proud of what we're doing, if that makes any sense. They to give them a sense of pride, because the conversations I've had, especially the ones I'm sitting on, a lot of them are really sad when you hear the insecurities that a lot of young Ugandans have. And for me, I never understood it, because I grew up with this huge sense of pride within myself. When me and you met, it was my uncle's club, Ugandan environment, Forest Gate.
Everyone's having a great time.
That was me. Do you get it? But I kind of realized that because of that environment that I grew up in, I was privileged.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't have that.
Exactly.
So they tend to feel a bit lost. So I mean, I can totally relate to the stories like probably some of the people you've heard from. Like when I was younger, I didn't grow up like in an area where there was like loads of East Africans.
You grew up in bricks.
There's like loads of Jamaicans, and I could tell like the thing is I can't hide that I'm African. First thing is my last name will just throw. Who am I gonna tell?
Away.
So what's my last name? But yeah, it would just people would just know I'm definitely not from. So you tend to feel a bit lost, or you feel outside of the circle. You don't fit in, but you're black like me. I just didn't understand that. I was like, why is it so hard for those people to relate to me? Like, we're both black. What's the problem? Do you get what I mean? It's
crazy you say that. I gave a speech in 2016. I gave a speech at the University of East London, and it was around cultural identity and my experience. And if I can find the transcripts for the speech, I'll send it to you. And I spoke about how living in Stratford, for example, when I lived in Stratford, there was this weird thing where at the time in the 90s, Stratford, especially the block that we lived on, it was 50-50, black and white, right? But the vast majority of black kids on that block were from the Caribbean.
Yeah.
And there was this strange thing where it was like they were just as hostile towards us as African kids as the white kids on the block. And there was this weird thing where it was...
That's really sad.
I can't explain it, but it was like there was this... We'd get bullied by everyone. Do you get it? And it led to us as Africans having to stick together. Do you understand? And identifying with each other more. But that's kind of... Then within that, as that grew, suddenly it was what part of Africa you're from that made you cool. So if you weren't Nigerian or whatnot, so suddenly the rest of us from the smaller countries were kind of left behind. But so when you say that, growing up in a Caribbean environment, you very quickly feel that, okay, we're black, but there's something different about us. Do you get it? And I had that sense, but it wasn't until I moved to Forest Gate that I felt home, because I was then in an environment that's
where
just
Ugandan. More of you.
Do you get it?
Yeah.
But no, what you said, I completely understand. That. But man, Brixton would have been different.
Trust me.
That's like being in Kingston.
It was crazy, but you know what? I wouldn't change it for anything, because I learned a lot, and then it made me like myself more. I was just like, okay, if you don't want me,
cool.
I'm okay with that. Like, I can find my people, and from that, I was always open to going to different areas in London, and I'm, oh my god, you're from? Oh, I know this place. I've been to that place. And then you find different people. If I tried to fit in, I probably wouldn't have been as open to meeting other people, even people from my country or people from different countries. Because have you noticed, when you meet someone from your own country, you're like, oh, you're from the same country. It's like instant bond for no reason.
Instantly.
For no reason.
Instantly.
I really don't get that. You start, so where are you from? What areas have you been? Like, what?
There's a way you just connect as soon as you realize someone's from your country. What I don't like are those people who try to... The second they realize you're from Uganda, they want to hide it because they don't want to associate with you. So I've seen that a lot.
But I don't get, where does that come from? Like, why?
Oh man,
why would you not be proud of like where you're from and what makes you?
I've done a whole talk on my theory as to why that is, and it's a very complex thing. It's how can I even put it? It's a sense of inferiority mixed with a sense of superiority. Very complex in terms of, it's a sense of you looking down on your own culture and then feeling as though you've kind of made it. So really? Feeling as though you're now above that which you left. There's a lot of that, especially with a lot of kids who come from Africa when they're older. Do you get it?
Yeah.
And we used to see it all the time, which is a huge clash because when you grow up here, you kind of want to connect with your home more than anything. But then when we used to see a lot of kids who came over when they were older, they wanted to do the complete opposite. They wanted to kind of almost strip their Africanness away. Do you get it? So there's a lot of people who have this sense where they're like, I moved on from that, or I'm better than, I don't want to associate myself with
that.
Ugandans anymore. So it's a sense of inferiority with superiority, because the inferiority comes from how they look down on their own culture. Do you get it? Because they think it's inferior to, the rest of society, but then they start feeling as though they're now superior because of where they are, because of their customs, and see it so much where people who can speak the native tongue choose not to. People who associate, and we see this in Ugandan politics today, where someone's level of English is almost like a measuring stick as to how intelligent or prosperous that they, or how amazing of a politician that they are.
True.
Do you get it? And so once we start to see these things back home, or just how Western they act, or the kind of music they listen to, or how they're gonna dress, or the more in tune they seem to be with the Western world, the higher up within society back home they're seen. So once you understand that, you understand why when a lot of our people come over here, especially at older age, they've seen the struggle. Do you get it? So now they're here, they literally feel like they've made it, and they're trying to strip themselves of everything that they are. And that's one thing that frustrates the life out of me, and that's almost why the podcast is there, I guess.
You know what? The podcast is here, and I'm sure you're working on something, okay? But I wanted to mention something, how you touched on something like your level of English. So I actually used to have that as well. So I used to think anyone that can speak English to a certain level is smart. Immediately, I'm just thinking, when I hear someone's like well-spoken people, I'm just like, oh, must be intelligent. Then when you start having a conversation with that particular person, you're like, whoa. Jesus, you don't know anything in life. Like, you have no experience with life. Like, you don't know anything. Because you hear their opinions on stuff. It really it broke my heart.
I would go as far as calling it a poison. It's a legit poison back home,
but a lot of people have that.
Yeah,
especially back home.
Big time. And it's like, for me, it frustrates me so much, and I've spoken about this, where it's like, I'm there, and I can understand some people maybe assuming I can't speak their mother tongue, so they'll want to speak to me in English to try and make me feel comfortable. I can understand that. But for people who know I can speak it, and for people who I approach, like, I'll come up to someone and I'll be like, "Yo, Gambach," and they'll be like, "Oh, nothing, I'm alright," and I'm like, "But why?" So there's people back home who do it to almost impress you, and there's this. It frustrates me because you see it amongst celebrities, you see it amongst influencers, you see it amongst politicians more than anything. The level of English you speak, kind of determines where in society you stand, and it's a serious poison, because being able to speak English does not determine your level of intelligence. That's something that people need to understand. Some of the most intelligent people I've spoken to, I've met in my travels. I've traveled. Some of the most intelligent people I've ever met can't speak a word.
Barely speaking.
Like I'm having to speak to them through translators, or people who I'll speak to in Uganda or whatnot. And it's like, when you see the wisdom and the intelligence they have, but then back home, it's like, if someone, or for example here, there was this thing growing up where if someone came and they couldn't speak English properly, they were bullied, or they were. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Yeah. And I feel like that needs to.
You know what? That actually happened to me when I first came to this country. So I got here and took me to class. They're like, "Oh yeah, she just came to the country. You should take her to set 5," not knowing I was the top of my class before I came here. So I'm in set 5, killing it. I don't even want to leave because I'm killing it. So I know everything, bro. And then so the teacher goes and speaks to the head of the year. It's like, "I think she's in the wrong." Literally on the same day, I think she's in the wrong. Because I was thinking, what? The syllabus here is like, what? Ridiculous. Yeah. These kids like adults, and what? They're getting taught like primary school stuff. But But I was just like, anyway, never mind. And then literally the next week, I was told, oh, you can go sit 1. Because they assumed, because I'm not from this country, I must be, I should go to sit 5.
Do you know what's crazy? I've met kids, like so I spent some time back home, and you look at some kids and the things they study, it's like, wow. The level of intelligence academically, forget just in terms of just life, academically, they're sharp. And for me, I remember I started getting frustrated with my nephews back home, because obviously what they don't understand is the way I speak isn't Queen's English.
Yeah.
I'm from East London.
They don't know
they don't know that.
Yeah.
So I'm speaking and they're trying to correct me. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, no one speaks like that. Do you understand? Do you know who speaks like that? The Queen. Do you get
some
it?
of the words I've never even heard of.
The kind of English they have when you're speaking, they're trying to correct you and they're trying to do that used to frustrate me. But they've got this joy in being able to speak English, and that frustrates the life out of me. There's nothing wrong with speaking English.
But did you go to school in Uganda?
No.
So I had the privilege of going to school in Uganda. Okay, so I kind of get where that can come from. So if anyone that went to school, say in some parts of Africa,
you used to be beaten, I heard, if you couldn't speak it.
Of course, like listen, to the point where you get used to those beats. Tough.
You tough it out. You take it.
The tougher you were, the popular you were. So
Rah.
yeah. So they used to teach English, and English was like really held in a high regard. If you can speak English, they used to give penalties. So if you got caught speaking your native language, can you imagine? If you get caught speaking your native language, like by what are they called, monitors or whatever, you get punishment. So you get smacked in front of the assembly or something at the end on Friday. Literally, there's punishments for if you get caught speaking your native language. You are forced to speak. So literally, English was always held in higher regard.
But do you know what's crazy? Call me rebellious.
Yeah.
That would make me, if I grew up in that environment, that would probably make me hate the English language. Do you get it?
You'd be surprised.
I get that, because not that I agree with it, but I understand where that comes from. It comes from, it's part of the legacy of colonialism.
Yeah.
Of course. Do you get it? Even one of the conversations that they're having in the build up to the Ugandan election at this moment in time is changing the education system and the curriculum, because it's still a remnant of our colonial past.
Yeah.
So there is that sense of, how can I put it? That sense that still trickles down to despite years of independence, we're still living in the past. We still have those mental shackles that tell us that English is superior. Hence why they need to. And I'm thinking to myself, here's a country, Uganda, in the heart of East Africa, part of the EAC, whose one of our national languages is Swahili.
Yeah.
Yet you're prioritizing English, and I don't understand and they keep saying it's for business, and I'm like, the vast majority of Ugandans would only ever interact with their East African
literally why not teach Swahili?
It's a much more lucrative language for Ugandans to own, because we're part of the EAC.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm trying to say?
And it's
teach English.
Quite widely spoken in Africa.
English is very important.
Yeah.
English is, in terms of international trade. Do you get it? But you have to have an approach when you're running a country, especially with the education system, in terms of when you're looking at your external approach in terms of international outlook, but also your internal approach as well. What does it do to the psyche of Ugandans to have their own language as their national language? Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
It gives you a sense of pride, a sense of you become more patriotic to your nation. I genuinely do believe that. But I also do feel what it also does is that it doesn't make someone feel inferior for not being able to speak someone else's language. Because ain't that crazy? Can you imagine if we judged, did you get it? And we were judged, our level of intelligence was just based off of how well we can speak Chinese.
Not even Chinese, how well we can speak English in general.
Like, that's insane. Like, and this is what we're doing. An African country, like, we're judging our own people based off of how they can speak
I mean, I think even here, like, we still judge people. So if someone comes around and they have like a really thick accent, immediately just thinking, yeah, they probably don't know that much. That's not the truth.
But that's wrong.
It's wrong.
That's ignorance at its finest. Do you get it?
It
and
is.
Again, I don't want to make it seem like, because I'm speaking English. I love, like, I'm not against the notion of speaking English.
Yeah.
I'm against the notion that speaking English, or how well you can speak English, determines your level of intelligence. Because that's what we're getting in Africa at this moment in time. The class you're at, you're seen as, better. Do you get it?
Yeah.
And that I'm against. I'm completely against that. And we used to see that a lot here in school growing up, and I really, really want to change the narrative. And you asked me about where the name The President comes from. I'll be very honest. I genuinely have dreams and aspirations of being a politician in Uganda. And I want the highest office. 100 million %.
See, the only way is to speak in existence.
Like, there's no doubt about that. There's no hesitation. And funny enough, I was speaking to my partner and I was telling her that right now, because I'm about to enter the 3rd floor, right? I'm about to clock 30, and I'm spending my entire 30s building the foundation I need to be able to kickstart my political career in Uganda. Anything I need to do. So I've already got the list. I know what it would take for me to, if I wanted to be mayor, what are the criteria that I need to hit? If I wanted to be a member of parliament, if I wanted the highest office, what do I need to have? And there's a lot of things, obviously, certain level of education, you need to have land, you need to live here, you need to do this. Trust me, my 30s, preparing myself.
Are you planning on going back home?
100%. Like, and I just want to, you see a lot of times people say they want to change this. It's not about change for me, it's about bettering. Do you get it? Because sometimes you can change something for the worse.
That's true.
I'm not trying to change, I'm trying to better my country. Do you get it? And for me, it's not about me, if that makes any sense.
I was actually going to ask you why change.
It's not about me, it's about others. It's about the country as a whole. For me, my mindset is, and I think I've had a lot of people turn around and say, you speak about Uganda a lot, for me, Uganda above, God above everything.
Yeah.
But it's putting God aside, which you can never do, but outside of my faith, Uganda above everything for me. Like, above everything. And I feel like it's just the path I'm walking.
Maybe that's how politicians are born. It's just like, because like I like how you think about this. Obviously, you're ranking God and then your country, things you're really passionate about. And someone else might not see, that's not what someone else thinks about, because most people are just, lack of a better word, selfish. Maybe if they put God first and then themselves and then other people, family, and they don't really care about their country. Hence why most people don't even care about politics or voting, or don't even care about what's going on until someone asks, oh, what's happening?
You see Gaddafi?
Yeah.
Gaddafi set out on a mission when he first took over Libya. Yeah. And it was to house every single Libyan, right? And he said, I didn't even know that. He will, before he houses his parents, to show how serious he was, he has to make sure every single Libyan is housed. So, and he stuck to that word so much so that his father died before he was able to build his father a house. That level of dedication to your country is what I have. Like, people hear that story and they're like, how could you do that? But for me, I get that. I get that simply because I think a lot of people don't understand that when you're in a position of power, it's not for you.
It's a sacrifice.
Exactly. People are going to look at it and think, oh, the people serve the president. No, the president serves the people. When you're in a position of power, you belong to the people, meaning every decision that you make, it's about bettering the lives of others.
For the people, Do
you get it? Do not run for public office, if you're not willing to give your entire life for that, and I don't care whether you're a councillor, I don't care whether you're just a member of parliament, I don't care whether you're just whatever position it is, if you decide to give your life to public service, you're giving your life to it. Do you get it?
Yeah.
It's not about. It's like when you hear things like the billions. I think it was like 11 billion that was stolen from Uganda's education board, and you're like, how does the ministry lose that much money?
How does that happen?
How? That's insane.
That's
because it's people
corruption.
who aren't who don't put their country before themselves. Do you get it? It has to be country first, and then you. You feel me? So your decision has to be, if you're in that position and you're sat with this money and you're writing the budget, these people are literally sat there thinking what they can gain from that budget before what's right for the country.
You know what? That kind of comes back to what we're talking about, English, and those that don't speak English. So what happens? You get these people, my opinion, you get these people in parliament that can speak minimal English, like, you know, to get them somewhere. Okay, and then you have these people that vote for them that don't speak English.
Yeah.
And when it comes to these big organizations donating money to the country, they give it to people that say speak English, because those are the people that are regarded as they're smart enough to run the country. They're smart enough to handle the issues that we have, and that money gets lost within that circle. And to these people, we're just told, oh, don't worry, you know, do some digging, plant something, eat from that. Not knowing how rich the country is and how better their lives can be.
100%.
It's the gap is ridiculous, and I just don't see how. Say for instance, these people started from the bottom, and you get to this place and you can't help the person that helped you even sacrifice, or they had like a plantation of like bananas to pay for your school fees to go to school, and then you become like a big member of parliament and you take their money.
I think
I just can't comprehend that.
I think, again, I'm gonna put blame on the president. You know, good thing we're not in Uganda. You can't have your podcast shut down. But I'm gonna put blame.
I ain't scared of him.
I want to put blame on the president because he's used poverty as a weapon. And when you have that kind of environment, you look at how much money people are getting out of being members of parliament. Look at the NRM primaries at this moment in time, where they're fighting and within themselves, physically fighting within themselves, because they're trying to get to parliament, because they know how much money MPs are making, and they know not just how much they're making, how much they're stealing unchecked. Do you get what I'm trying to say? And that's why he's able to keep the country poor. But in every election cycle, he can go village to village, giving them little hands out, and then they get happy. He uses that he uses poverty as a tool, and a lot of MPs are also aware of that, where they're going to ignore their constituency for 4 years. Then a year before the election, they just start giving out little money. And for me, that's the problem with party politics. And for an environment like Uganda, I feel like at this moment in time, that's kind of the problem with this whole idea of terms. Do you get it? For members of parliament, because a lot of the time what they're doing is, from the day they elected, from the day they sworn in, their focus is on being re-elected, as opposed to actually working to serve the people. You feel me? And when you have people like, we had an MP, I won't say his name, who came out recently, and he was talking about how he admitted that his first term as MP was to eat money.
I think I know who you're talking about.
You know, yeah.
He used to be a comedian.
Yeah, he used to be a comedian, and he was like, that was his first term. Do you get it? And now he's asking the people, like, he's like, I'm not gonna lie to you. You know what? I respected his gangster.
You know what? You shouldn't even say that. Because a lot of people are saying that they respect the fact that he came out and admitted that.
Here's where I respect his gangster. He came out and he told the people, listen, all these other MPs, they're gonna lie to you lot. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie to you lot. Yeah. We've been eating money. This first term, it was that. Now, vote me back in, and then we can eat together. Like, and in my mind, I'm like, at least he's not lying. Do you get it? But at the same time, just because he's not lying, it doesn't mean he deserves another term in office because it's
But you
wrong.
know, a lot of people would vote for someone, especially in the culture that we're in now. They just like, people like honesty. Oh, you told the truth. So yeah, definitely.
Do you know what? I still see people talking about how they really believe in this government, and I'm like, why? But anyways, that's just me. I don't deal with party politics. I'm very.
Do you have a side?
Currently, do you want to go into that?
No. It was just a simple question.
I do and I don't.
Okay.
I'm politically independent, even here in the UK.
Okay.
I don't do party politics. I feel like party politics is a poison. I feel like people become so patriotic and so in love and so loyal to the party that they overlook even the mistakes that the parties may do. And I remember growing up, in a Labour family, we'd literally turn up, vote whoever. You won't even look at the name of the candidate. You look at the party.
Yeah.
Where's Labour, and you tick and you walk out. You don't know who they are. You don't know their morals. You don't know what their manifesto is. You don't know what they're going to try to do. You just know the party, and I feel like that's poison to society. You feel me? With Uganda, it's just the same. You get it? I feel like people are going to be like, I just support NRM. Why? Because for the sake of it. Do you get it? So I'm politically independent, and I feel like I'll always be politically independent. But of course, I do vote, and I do have sides. And for me, it's always down to what I feel or who I feel is the best outcome or the best candidate. And in Luganda, we've got a saying: "Empologoma webe kugoba, oyambuko mutigwa magwa."
How can I?
To translate that into English, it says, if a lion's chasing you, you'd climb a tree of thorns.
Yeah.
Do you get it? On any normal day, you're not climbing no tree of thorns because it's gonna hurt you. It's gonna cut you. Do you get it? It's painful. But when you got a lion chasing you, you're choosing the lesser of two evils, right? Why do I bring that up? I feel like when you look at Uganda's political scene now, there is no one I 100% trust. There is no one I feel is I believe in terms of, you see, if that was president, if this individual is president, they will transform Uganda, make Uganda better. And I don't believe in any candidate.
So maybe baby steps.
Exactly. But there are I do look at certain candidates and I think, you know what, we're better off with you than you. Or I look at individual issues and I think, what's the biggest issue facing Uganda right now? And I look at it and I think we need to get rid of this government. That's the biggest for me. That's number one.
Yeah.
30 plus years in power, we're as broke as ever. People are suffering. Nothing to show for it. People are suffering. People are dying. Politics is broken. People are afraid to speak out. Freedom of speech is a myth.
Bruv, have you seen Rwanda?
Rwanda's a different story. Rwanda, that guy is just a gangster. Kagame, let's not even talk about.
Boy, I'm just thinking like, what?
You can like, if things like
why
that.
can't we just copy and paste? Like copy and paste.
It's because we don't have leaders who love the country. We have leaders who love power and love themselves as opposed to the country. So when I look at all of that, I lean towards the opposition. Do you get it? And the opposition being, Bobby Wine. But even then, I'm disappointed. Not with necessarily with him, but with the rest of the opposition. I don't want to speak into existence, but I don't feel like he's capable of winning.
Oh, you having doubts?
Not doubts. I feel like the NRM is such a powerful machine that it needs an equally powerful opposition.
That can never happen until he's actually out of, say, dead, for instance.
But that's 'cause Uganda doesn't have an opposition, like a strong opposition.
But you know, the thing is, he owns the army.
Yeah.
And that's the most powerful thing in the country.
Like, if let's think about this, for example. Let's think about a situation where the Electoral Commission actually announces Bobby Wine has won.
There's gonna be war.
Do you get what I mean? That person himself will die. Like, let's not even kid ourselves. So there's that. How do you overcome that? How do you get over that? Just that one situation as well. And then I feel like where I stopped supporting Besigye, I was disappointed in the fact that you focus so much on the presidency that you forget that Uganda is a parliamentary republic. So you overlook parliament. So now let's say, for example, you win the presidency.
Yeah.
Yet, I think around 85% of parliament is NRM. What's the point?
Who's going to be listening to you?
You don't control the military. That's already in the hands of the NRM. And you don't control parliament. So what's the point of being president? Do you get it? And I feel like you need an approach that's targeting parliament and the presidency. Do you get it? And I feel like that's what Bobby Wine is doing well. I just feel like other opposition leaders have let him down. They've not rallied around him. They've not joined him. Because I feel like with him at the front, bringing Besigye's experience, bringing Mugisha Muntu's experience, bringing Mao's experience, come together as a collective, you could do something here. Do you get what I'm trying to say? You could at least threaten it. But all of you are coming as individuals. Like, come on. It's not happening.
I mean, let's stay away from that region.
Because it's going to make you cry.
Not me.
I see you're passionate about people power. The second I said I don't think it's going to
No, I'm not passionate.
Win.
This is the thing,
Where's
right?
this?
No. This is the thing, right? So it's kind of similar to what's been happening with the Black Lives Matter movement.
Right.
So, I feel like we're touching like a, so I'm supporting the movement. I just don't want to hear anything negative. Do you know what I mean? I'm just like, stay in lane.
Yeah.
Stay in lane. Don't lose focus. So every time I hear anyone saying anything negative, for instance, or someone got shot, or there were black people, whatever, it's like, what's that got to do with the movement? Don't lose focus. So when you say you're leaning towards this party, but they're not doing that great, but it's the better party, the lesser evil, whatever. This is how I look at things. I am black and white here. Like, there's A and B.
There's a lion. There's a tree of thorns.
Yeah,
exactly.
I'm either taking the lion, or I'm taking this. I'm not running from nothing.
You're not thinking about it.
No.
This is what my brother says is when we're having these conversations. He says exactly what you're saying. He goes, Hakim, you're thinking too deeply about it. Let's first get this out the way.
Yeah.
We'll focus about everything else after. But I'm like,
no. But I do understand your argument. I like people reminding me. However, I just don't want. There's so many people with that opinion. Like, he's the less of, because we have not seen him in power. He doesn't look when we think of a powerful president, we think someone who's his body shape. Even just his body shape. I'm just thinking how a woman would think voting for a president. Let me tell you the truth. Sometimes women vote on how good looking someone is. People
how
have
they carry
different,
themselves.
Yeah, people have different reasons. So just him coming out of his family, how beautiful. I vote him. His wife is beautiful. Literally, people have weird reasons. So,
I'm not gonna lie to you. The one thing that I hate about our president is his dress sense. His fashion sense is terrible.
See,
sometimes, I see him in international conferences sometimes, and I'm like, are you really representing us? Like, get an iron. Let's start there. Just an iron. Like,
his tourist hat.
Oh man,
tourist hat.
Oh no, have you seen his head? No, he needs
a
hat.
Like streamlined?
Yeah, he needs a hat.
Oh,
he needs a hat.
That makes sense.
Yeah, he needs a hat. Trust me. No, I hear you. Oh man.
He's been gymming.
Seen his shoes.
I saw him
trousers.
doing push-ups and.
Man, he wears blazers that are like 3 times his. Oh man.
That is someone who is stuck in their old ways. Literally.
That's someone who... Listen.
He's well on the highway.
He doesn't deserve to be president of Uganda just based off of his fashion sense. Just based off of... If I was lost for any reason as to why I shouldn't vote for him, that would convince me.
But I don't think they put their pictures, like their full body pictures on the
it's
ballots.
terrible. If I was him, I would fire whoever's head of his wardrobe, bro.
I don't think he does. I think he dresses himself.
I don't think his wife cares that much about him, because you cannot truly care about your man and see him dressed like that and let it be.
Do you know what that's called? She's tired. I think they don't even sleep in the same bed anymore.
You think? Listen, even me, I get told what to wear.
It happens when you have a girl. That's gonna happen.
Like, I get told what to wear.
If she ever stops telling you what to wear, or she lets you out and someone asks you like, "What are you wearing?" Trust me, she's upset with you. It's just simple as.
Why do women like to control every aspect of a man's life? Like every.
Like, whoa, 180.
Like every aspect.
No.
Listen. You want to
that's
control my finance. You want to control my clothes, my fashion sense. Mm-hmm. You want to decide what car I'm driving. Mm-hmm. You want to know what I'm having for breakfast.
Do you know what you're confused. We want the better things for you. Okay?
I know. I'm never gonna lie to you.
When it comes control your finance, it could be that you spend a lot of money on stupid things. Your fashion, maybe you what makes you think it's stupid?
So,
for instance, if I was going on a date, or say, do you live with your partner? Mm-hmm. So you live with your partner. Mm-hmm. Okay, so say you have. A lot
of the times,
pretty much you're like always together. So most of the time you can go. She can cook for you. She's happy to cook for you, whatever. Or and then you've expressed in conversation, because guys tend to forget. In conversation, you've expressed how you want to buy something, but you need to save up for it, whatever. And then next minute you buy something crazy, or you book a table somewhere crazy. In my head, I'm thinking, where'd you get that money from? To you, you're doing something cute, and I understand it's cute, but right now we need to get to that thing that you know is gonna build you. So sometimes this is how we think.
I'm trying to get tickets to go watch Man United play.
Right.
You're telling me other things. No, but you know what? Yeah, I'm a blessed man, because financially sane, like, it's cute, and I think what you said is true. The day that stops, I'm gonna be worried. I'm gonna be very, very worried. You just need to go and
ask her, what did I do? Like, I did something because this has changed.
But that's what I think. My experience is what tells me his wife don't care about him.
She gave up.
Listen, have you seen his shoes? Listen,
I don't even get that far to look at the bottom. I think I stop here. Like, I literally stop here. I don't know if you...
She doesn't care about the ties are all like, man. Listen, listen. If you want to know the first reason why he doesn't get my vote,
people should just go tell them so they can Google this person.
Listen, the president of Uganda, just Google his fashion sense.
Images.
I swear he's the worst dressed man in politics. I would say in world politics. In the whole world, yeah. He is the worst dressed man in world politics.
I think is the definition of I don't give a fuck.
He did. We could swear.
I mean, every now and then, but honestly, he doesn't care.
No, for me, what frustrates me is the people around him. Do you get what I mean? Do you not have people who care about your image? Do you not have handlers as the president of an entire country?
Would you be surprised if you found out those handlers? He said he doesn't need them. Would you be surprised?
I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't think anyone can tell that man what to do.
There you go. Nothing.
Yeah, I think he's so locked into king mode. You can't tell him what to do.
I don't even know if you heard what he was talking about. anyway about the kingdom and all that stuff. I don't know. I heard some. I would just think this is crazy. I'm switching off, going to bed. But yeah.
That's crazy.
So I mean, since we're speaking about politics, what are your thoughts on the politics and how it affects us in London or in the UK? It is a very vague question, but
It's gonna sound messed up here. I gave up on British politics after the last elections
why is that?
because I feel like I hate feeling hopeless as an individual. That's the one thing I hate more than anything. And one thing that I've seen since the Brexit vote is the fact that my voice is being diminished more and more by the day. What I mean by that is the country is moving further and further to the right, without a shadow of a doubt. And I don't see a scenario where we get a government anytime soon in this country that represents my views.
So guys, that concludes part 1 with Hakim. Tune in next time as the conversation continues. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think via Facebook, Instagram or Twitter. Search for TGO Podcast. That's good, Oral.